Hi, welcome to Ukulele Lessons Easy 1B. This is the warm-up where we're going to get ready to play the song Margaritaville. Before we start the song that's coming up in the probably in the next tutorial, go ahead and get your music sheet Margaritaville that I sent you via email and have it on hand. I want to talk about some things. So either go get your music sheet and start the tutorial again, or pause the tutorial right here, go get your music sheet and then start the tutorial up again. We'll start in about a second. Okay, so now that you got your music sheet, what I want you to do is to write these Roman numerals 1, 4, 5, 7, or 5 with all of the chords. So you're going to see in the song you got a C, you got an F, you got a G7, you got a G. Okay, so every time you see a C chord in your music, you're going to write a 1. Roman numeral 1. Every time you see an F in the music, you're going to write 4. Roman number 4. In other words, you're going to write it either somewhere above it, below it, on the side of it, just somewhere near the chord so you can associate the number. It's important that you start associating these numbers with the chord. Next, every G7 that you see, you're going to write a 5-7. And then finally, every G that you see, you're going to write a 5. I kind of noticed that, the G7 and the G, they're kind of similar. They're from the same family. They're not the same chord. So you kind of see, like, for the 5-7, because it has a 7, you're going to put a 7 here. You notice this G chord is a 5 chord, okay, but it doesn't have a 7. That's why there's no 7 over here, okay? So go ahead and do that. Now, you're going to notice that there is a C7, okay? A C7 is, sorry about that, a C7 is basically a 1-7. Do not write this. Do not concern yourself with this chord at this time right now. It's only going to confuse you. Right now, I just want you to concentrate on the chords 1, 4, and 5-7, or 5. Okay, those are chords I want you to really get familiar with. We're going to continue talking about this. We're going to continue writing it down in our music sheet. And if you are not writing it down, you're really missing out on some basic fundamental training that's happening early in the course that later on is going to be much easier for you to adapt to when we do cover this information. So go ahead and start doing this little work or homework, whatever it is that you do. Okay, now before you start the song, make sure that you do your chord cog exercise. So in this song, basically you have you got a C chord, you got an F chord, you got a G, and you got a G7. Keep in mind that the G and the G7, they're two different chords. They're not the same chord. Don't mix them up, okay? I like to differentiate or make it known to myself and my students that the way that you can recognize that they're different, if you think about it, notice that the G7 and the G, they're kind of reversed in appearance. So in other words, you see the G7, how it kind of has a V going this way, a V going this way, and the G has the V going in the opposite direction. Okay, so keep in mind, sometimes a lot of students get that confused. So you have to make a special note to yourself, remind yourself that you're not going to get them mixed up because they're two different chords, they sound different, and they're basically chords there for different reasons, okay? So once again, you want to do your chord cog exercise. I'm not going to go through the chord cog exercise with you folks because these are basically easy chords to review, but just to touch bases on it. When you're previewing the music, let's say you're looking at your music right now. Okay, if you don't have your music, you need to go get your music. Pause the tutorial, come on back, we'll start here in a second. Okay, so you got your music sheet Margaritaville. So what you're doing is you're previewing the music, you're looking at the music, making sure that you can do all the chords in the song, okay, before you play it. Now, when you're doing the chord cog exercise at this point, especially with the music sheet, you're going to start off like you notice the first chord is a C. So what you're going to do is, as you see the C, just keep pressing and relaxing, lifting off. You're not really looking at your hand, because by this point you should already know how to make a C. Then as you look through the music, so you're looking at the words, okay? Nibbling on sponge cake, watching the sun bake, all of those tourists covered with oil. There's a G7 right there. So you make a G7 chord, press, relax, press, relax. Then you continue reading along out loud or silent to yourself. Strumming my 6th string on my front porch swing. Smell those shrimp, and you notice I'm pressing and relaxing as I'm reading. Smell those shrimp, they're beginning to boil. That's a C there, okay? Pressing, and then oh, there's a C7 that comes up. Okay, I'm playing the C7. Then there comes a chorus, and there's an F. Okay, F. Now you're doing the chord exercise as you're reading, changing the chord as you see them. Wasting away, there's a G. In Margaritaville, that's a C. Searching for my lost, that's a G. Shaker and salt, and then a C7. Okay, so you get the idea. So you want to do that through the entire song, if it is at all possible. It's going to really make your playing come together and be a whole lot easier. So once again, don't forget, you're writing down 1, 4, 5, 7, or 5 Roman numerals in conjunction with the chords C, F, and G7, G. I would suggest just pausing the tutorial, and then so you can just use this as like a note to write down your music for that. And don't forget to do your chord count exercise of the chords for the song. Basically, you know these chords already. You're in the chord book. They're on your chord chart, and hopefully you put them on the front and back of your music binder that you were told to get to stay organized. Okay, so when you're ready, let's move on to the song, and we'll see you for the next lesson.